Good day, everyone. Trust you're doing well today. Today, we diving into Nigeria stock market, to analyze last week top gainers and how they performed, and more importantly, why they made it a top gainer list. This is not a buy, sell, or hold type of video. This is just to give you an insight about, the mood of the stock market. However, my stock recommendation video will come shortly after this one. So subscribe to see that one, when it gets uploaded. So let's begin. Number 10, Airtel Africa. Airtel went up 10% last week. So what's actually driving Airtel? Strong 2025 turnaround from loss to profit of about $328 million. Their mobile money subscribers grew, 17.3%. Internet data usage surged up to 30.4% per customer. And Starlink partnership announcement kind of fuel investors' confidence, towards Airtel stocks. However, my final take on Airtel is fully bought. But then again, even though Airtel is fully bought, it extremely has low volume. So I'll not be recommending Airtel to anyone. Number 9, MTN. Well, MTN went up 10.74% last week. So what's actually driving MTN? Strong turnaround from loss to profits. That's their 2025 results. So they made about 1.11 trillion. And their subscriber growth also went up 7.9%. And MTN is strongly dominating 52% market share in Nigeria. My take for MTN stock is for conservative investors, right? MTN is too late to buy. But for investor with high risk appetite, there is still a potential upside for 6 to 10%. So trade cautiously. Number 8, Zenith Bank. Zenith Bank went up 12.50% last week. Now, what's driving Zenith Bank? Strong 2025 results with stable profits of about 1.04 trillion. Now, dividend increase, that's Zenith Bank dividend, increased to around 10 naira per share. There's also news of, UK expansion, and that's for Zenith Bank right here. So, there's also news of, UK expansion for Zenith Bank, and this has caused, aggressive buying for Zenith Bank, making Zenith Bank stocks a very, very solid stock. Number 7, Access Core. Access Core went up 15%. What's driving Access Core? Well, it's strong 2025 revenue growth, which went up to 8.1%, and successful 21.4 billion private placement, and Pan-Africa diversification across 12 countries. So investors' confidence in Access Bank is very, very high long term. All these are what is driving Access Bank stocks. Then my take for Access Bank is at this point it's extremely overbought. Number 6, Multiverse. Multiverse went up 18.11% last week. What's driving Multiverse? Strong 2025 results. They made a profit of 44.6%. Keep in mind, Multiverse is in the Nigeria mining sector. My final take on Multiverse is it's looking overbought, as in it's in that overbought zone. However, I would not recommend for anyone to buy, um, especially the conservative investors. I would not recommend um, Multiverse because this stock has low liquidity. So let's move to the next one, which is number 6, NACO. Now, NACO went up 20.88% last week. So what's actually driving NACO? Strong 2025 results. They made a profit of 39.91%. Then they also announced dividend increase to 6.25 plus bonus share NACO's monopoly position at major Nigeria ports and aviation sector recovery are actually fueling aggressive buying of their stocks. So that's my final take on NACO is at this point it's extremely overbought. Number four, First Oatco. First Oatco went up 22.96% last week. What's driving First Oatco? Well, it's strategic balance sheet cleanup. That's actually fueling investors' confidence in First Oatco. And on April 17th, which turned out to be last Friday, last trading day for last week, it was obvious that there was a lot of institutional buying on First Oatco. So my take for First Oatco is for conservative investors, First Oatco is too late to buy. But for investors with high risk appetite, there's still a potential for at least 6 to another 10%. So be very, very careful. Then number three, Aradel. Aradel went up 28.93%. Now, what's driving Aradel? Strong 2025 results. They actually made a profit of 54.3%. Another news driving Aradel is the major M&A acquisition and dividend growth, which is now 30 naira per share. And lastly, investors' confidence in Aradel. So, especially in Aradel integrated energy model, this is actually fueling aggressive buying in Aradel. Not to mention the war in the Middle East. That's another factor. So my final take on Aradel is at this point it's so. In fact, it's extremely overbought. Number two, Stanbic. Stanbic went up 36.63% last week. Now, what's driving Stanbic? Strong 2025 results. Stanbic made a profit of 69.9%. And what's also happening is foreign investors, returning to NGN's banking stocks, right, are actually fueling aggressive buying in Stanbic. So my final take on Stanbic is it's extremely overbought at this point. Number one, Ecobank. Ecobank went up 46.30% last week, which turned out to be the highest. So what's actually driving Ecobank? Strong 2025 results. Ecobank actually profited 30.5%. And also foreign investors returning to NGX banking stocks are also following the aggressive buying of Ecobank. So, like I said earlier from the beginning, right? So, the essence of this video is to explain what happened in the top gainers stocks of last week. The next video will be my stocks recommendation video for this new week. So hit the like button and subscribe to see that one when it's uploaded. See you in the next video.